Most people think the world is fair. They believe that if they stay kind, work hard, and avoid conflict, success will eventually find them. But the truth is darker than that. The world does not reward weakness. It rewards strength. And centuries ago, a controversial political thinker named Niccolò Machiavelli observed something about human nature that most people still refuse to accept. People admire kindness, but they respect power. And when kindness exists without strength, it is often ignored. Look around at history. Kings did not rule because they were the kindest men in the room. Empires were not built by people waiting for permission. Power has always belonged to those who were disciplined enough and bold enough to take responsibility for their own destiny. But modern society teaches the opposite. From childhood, many people are trained to avoid discomfort. They are taught to stay quiet, to follow instructions, to never challenge the system. Slowly, without realizing it, they become comfortable with weakness. Weakness does not arrive suddenly. It grows quietly. It grows when you delay the work you know you should be doing. It grows when you silence your voice because you fear judgment. It grows when you choose comfort instead of discipline. And over time, those small decisions shape your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who avoids challenges, someone who waits, someone who hesitates. And hesitation is the language of weakness. Machiavelli understood that hesitation is dangerous because in every environment, politics, business, leadership, those who hesitate are eventually controlled by those who act decisively. In other words, the world rarely waits for the uncertain. It moves forward with those who take action. But here is where many people misunderstand power. Power does not mean cruelty. Power does not mean arrogance. True power begins with something far simpler: self-control. The ability to control your habits, the ability to control your emotions, the ability to act even when your mind is searching for excuses. This is why discipline is the foundation of power. Without discipline, talent means nothing. Without discipline, ambition fades. Without discipline, even intelligence becomes wasted potential. But discipline is uncomfortable, and that is why most people avoid it. It requires waking up when you want to sleep, working when you want to relax, continuing when your mind tells you to quit. And that is why disciplined people are rare. They are willing to endure discomfort today, to build strength tomorrow. Weak people, on the other hand, build their lives around avoiding discomfort. They escape into distractions. They delay important decisions. They tell themselves that they will start tomorrow. But tomorrow rarely comes, and slowly, years pass. Dreams fade, confidence disappears, because every avoided challenge sends a message to the mind. I am not capable. But the mind believes what you repeatedly prove. If you repeatedly avoid difficulty, your mind will learn weakness. If you repeatedly confront difficulty, your mind will develop strength. This is why powerful individuals behave differently. They treat discomfort as training. Every obstacle becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes information, and every difficult day becomes evidence that they are becoming stronger. Machiavelli believed that fortune favors the bold, not because bold people are lucky, but because bold people act. They move while others are still thinking. They build while others are still doubting. They speak while others remain silent. And action changes reality. Weakness waits for perfect conditions. Power creates them. This is why the transformation from weakness to strength requires one brutal decision. You must stop protecting your old identity, your old habits, your old excuses, your old fears. They must be abandoned, because the person you were yesterday cannot build the life you want tomorrow. Transformation begins when you stop negotiating with weakness. Wake up when you said you would wake up. Do the work you promised yourself you would do. Speak the truth, even when it feels uncomfortable. Face the challenges you have been avoiding. Every small act of discipline builds a new identity, a stronger identity. And identity is powerful, because once you see yourself as a disciplined person, your actions change automatically. Confidence grows, focus sharpens, opportunities become visible, people begin to treat you differently. Not because the world suddenly became fair, but because strength attracts respect and weakness invites dismissal. This is one of the harshest truths about human nature, but it is also one of the most empowering, because if weakness is learned, strength can also be learned through habits, through discipline, through daily action. You do not need to become a completely different person overnight. You simply need to become slightly stronger every day, slightly more disciplined, slightly more courageous, slightly more focused. And over time, those small improvements create an unstoppable transformation. The person who once avoided challenges becomes the person who conquers them. The person who once doubted themselves becomes the person others rely on. And the person who once felt powerless becomes someone capable of shaping their own future. But it all begins with one decision. A decision to stop accepting weakness. A decision to build discipline. Because in the end, the world respects only power, and power begins with mastering yourself.